The vault is open after years of whispers, fierce legal battles, and massive public demand. The documents they said would never see the light of day are finally here. We are talking about the newly unsealed Jeffrey Epstein files, and the contents are sending absolute shockwaves across the globe right this very second. This is not just a rumor anymore. Official court documents have just been released to the public, directly linking President Donald Trump to the deeply controversial Epstein network, and the specific details surrounding sexual assault allegations are now laid bare for the entire world to read. This is the exact moment everything changes. The political landscape, the ongoing legal battles, the public perception, nothing will be the same after today. And because this incredible story is breaking wide open, right? Now, with new names and shocking details dropping by the minute, you need to hit that subscribe button immediately. By subscribing, you ensure you will not miss a single critical update as this massive historical scandal continues to unfold. Because the whole truth is finally coming out piece by piece, and you will hear it all right here. For years, the connection between Epstein and the world's most high-profile figures has been the darkest shadow in modern politics. Everyday people demanded answers. They demanded the hidden names. They demanded accountability for the victims. Now, a judge has forced the release of these highly guarded documents, completely pulling back the curtain on a deeply disturbing reality. The pages unsealed today specifically highlight severe allegations, placing one of the most famous men on the planet right in the middle of the most infamous circle of the wealthy and powerful. These are not just passing mentions or vague rumors. We are looking at sworn testimonies, detailed flight logs, and direct witness accounts that have been locked away in federal court vaults to protect the elite. The public has been waiting for the undeniable proof, and legal experts are already calling this massive document dump a historic turning point for justice. It paints a vivid, terrifying picture of exactly what was happening behind closed doors, on private jets, and within massive, secluded estates. The gravity of what is written in these official files simply cannot be overstated. It exposes a massive web of unchecked power, endless money, and deeply troubling accusations that are now officially part of the permanent public record. We are witnessing the absolute collapse of a carefully constructed wall of secrecy, and the fallout is just beginning. But here is the most mind-blowing part of this entire situation. The documents that just dropped today, they were originally hidden from the public. Yes, you heard that exactly right. When the government released millions of pages of Epstein files earlier this year, these specific papers, the ones directly naming Donald Trump in severe sexual assault allegations, were completely left out. The official story from the Justice Department today, they are claiming it was just a simple coding error. They are saying these explosive files were accidentally marked as duplicates and tossed aside. But nobody's buying that excuse. People are absolutely furious, and the phrase cover-up is trending everywhere across the globe right now. Imagine finding out that the most damaging testimonies were quietly swept under the rug until the public and lawmakers forced them out into the open. That alone makes this the biggest political earthquake the world has witnessed in decades. The newly released files show that the FBI actually sat down and interviewed a woman multiple times back in 2019. This woman gave them a chilling, step-by-step account of what she says happened. She told federal agents that when she was just a young teenager, barely in high school, Jeffrey Epstein took her to a massive, towering building and introduced her directly to Donald Trump. What she described next in those official FBI notes is so serious it is hard to even process. She claims she was cornered, that Trump tried to force himself on her, and that she had to physically fight back just to escape. She also told the FBI that for years after that terrible day, she received terrifying, anonymous phone calls demanding she keep her mouth shut. And now, all of those dark secrets she held onto for decades are printed in black and white for the entire world to read. Naturally, The White House and the Trump team are fighting back with everything they have. They are calling these claims completely fake, saying there is absolutely zero proof, and insisting this is nothing but a dirty political attack. They want the public to believe this is all just a giant, coordinated lie. But the undeniable fact remains. These are official FBI interview records that were strangely buried. And they are finally out. This is a massive war for the truth. This channel is tracking every single development. So hit that subscribe button right now, because as investigators dig deeper into exactly why these files were hidden, you need to be the very first to know the answers. The outrage did not stop with just internet rumors. Lawmakers in Washington are absolutely exploding over this right now. Within hours of these hidden files hitting the internet, massive political moves were made. Top politicians are flat out refusing to accept the simple coding error excuse from the Justice Department. They are moving to haul in the Attorney General, demanding she sit down under oath and explain exactly how documents containing such horrific allegations against the sitting president just magically slipped through the cracks. They are calling it a blatant cover-up at the highest levels of government. And the pressure is reaching an absolute boiling point. To understand exactly what is at stake here, look at the truly chilling details this survivor gave the FBI. She told investigators that when she was trapped, she was so terrified that she literally had to bite Donald Trump just to break free and escape the assault. She told federal agents that for years afterward, she lived in constant, agonizing fear. She claimed Epstein orchestrated a massive campaign of terror against her family to keep her absolutely silent. Think about the heavy weight of carrying a dark secret like that for decades, only to finally tell the FBI, and then watch as the government hides your sworn statement from the public. This is the exact kind of explosive, fast-moving story that changes history, which is exactly why you need to subscribe to the channel right now. As lawmakers launch their massive investigations and demand the hidden truth, subscribing guarantees you will get the raw facts the second they drop. Meanwhile, the White House is pushing back with blinding speed and fury. The press secretary stepped up to the podium and completely trashed the newly released files. She called the woman's claims completely baseless, totally uncorroborated, and backed by zero credible evidence. The president's team is flooding the airwaves, reminding everyone that these are just accusations, not proven facts. They are pointing out that the Justice Department itself previously warned that some people submitted wild, fake stories to the FBI just to hurt Trump politically. They are painting this entire release as a desperate, dirty smear campaign designed to distract the country. But the sheer timing of these hidden files finally dropping is pouring gasoline on a massive political fire, and the entire world is watching to see what burns next. The excuse of a coding error is falling apart under the weight of the actual evidence. Just think about it. The Department of Justice is now admitting that 15 crucial documents were incorrectly coded as duplicates. 15. They are trying to tell us that some of the most sensitive, explosive witness testimonies in history were just a victim of a computer glitch. But as these files circulate, the public is seeing things that are far from a simple mistake. We are looking at official FBI memos, known as 302 reports, that detail not one, not two, but 4 separate interviews with the primary accuser. This woman, whose name is still redacted for her safety, sat down with federal agents multiple times throughout 2019. She described a pattern of behavior that is absolutely sickening. She says she was barely a teenager, somewhere between 13 and 15 years old, when she was first brought into this dark world. She claims Epstein used his power to introduce her to some of the most powerful men in America, including Donald Trump. In these newly released notes, she describes a specific violent encounter where she says the future president tried to force her into a sexual act. She tells the FBI that she was so desperate to get away that she bit him with everything she wore. Had, according to her testimony, he responded by hitting her and screaming to get her out of there. The level of detail in these files is why the political world is in a total meltdown. And this is exactly why you need to subscribe to this channel right now. We are sifting through millions of pages of documents, flight logs, and secret memos to bring you the parts they tried to hide. If you want the truth that others are too afraid to touch, you have to stay connected here. The heat is turning up on Attorney General Pam Bondi. She is the one currently leading the Justice Department, and she is now facing a legally binding subpoena from the House Oversight Committee. Lawmakers want to know if she was personally involved in the decision to keep these specific Trump-related files out of the massive public database released earlier this year. They are pointing to the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a law designed to make sure nothing is hidden to protect someone's reputation. If it is proven that the government intentionally buried these files to protect the president, we are looking at a constitutional crisis. The walls are closing in, and the battle for the truth is moving from the internet into the halls of Congress. The paper trail is getting longer, and the evidence is becoming impossible to ignore. Beyond the chilling personal testimonies, these newly released files contain something even more concrete. The travel records. We are talking about the infamous flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein's private jets, the planes the media nicknamed the Lolita Express. For years, the public was told that Donald Trump only flew with Epstein a couple of times, back in the 90s. But these unsealed documents tell a very different and much more frequent story. The logs show multiple trips that were never officially disclosed before, placing the future president on those planes during times when the most disturbing activities were allegedly taking place. It is not just about the dates, it is about the destinations. These files suggest that the travel wasn't just between New York and Florida. There are entries pointing toward Epstein's private island in the US, Virgin Islands, a place shrouded in mystery and horror for decades. While the Trump legal team insists these logs are being misinterpreted or are simply travel for business meetings, the sheer volume of contact documented in these papers is staggering. It paints a picture of a much closer, much more consistent relationship than anyone was ever led to believe. This is why the world is glued to these updates, because every new page turns a rumor into a record. As we pull back the curtain on these flight logs and the secret meetings they reveal, the stakes for the truth have never been higher. This is exactly why you must subscribe to this channel right now. We are diving deep into the data, cross-referencing names, dates, and locations that the mainstream media is glossing over. By subscribing, you are joining a community that demands the full story, ensuring you stay ahead of the curve as more of these buried flight records are analyzed and explained. Don't let the noise drown out the facts. Stay with us for the real story. Legal experts are now weighing in, and they are stunned by the level of detail the FBI actually had in its possession for years. Some of the top former federal prosecutors are pointing out that these documents contain specific mentions of a black book, a directory of contacts that Epstein used to manage his circle of influence. These unsealed pages show that Trump's personal numbers, including private lines to his most secure offices, were listed right alongside some of the most notorious names in the Epstein saga. The question everyone is asking now is simple. If the FBI had all of this in 2019, why is it only surfacing in 2026? The timeline suggests a massive failure of transparency, and the legal fallout for those who kept these files hidden is just beginning to take shape. This isn't just a political scandal anymore. It is a full-blown investigation into the integrity of the justice system itself. This is not just about old paperwork or dusty files from the past. What we are looking at right now are the raw, unedited FBI 302 reports, The high-stakes summaries of actual interviews where agents sat across from victims and recorded every word. These documents, which the government only just admitted were missing because of a supposed coding error, provide the most graphic and direct allegations we have ever seen. According to these records, a woman told federal agents that her nightmares started in the early 1980s when she was only 13 to 15 years old. She claimed Jeffrey Epstein personally introduced her to Donald Trump, and what she describes next is a scene of pure terror. She told the FBI that during an encounter arranged by Epstein, Trump tried to force her into a sexual act. This is where the story takes a turn that has left everyone stunned. She says she was so scared and desperate that she bit him as hard as she could just to make him stop. According to her statement, Trump didn't just back off. He allegedly struck her and yelled for her to be kicked out of the room. These aren't just internet rumors. These are specific, dated, and detailed claims that have been sitting in an FBI vault for years, while the public was told there was nothing left to see. The fact that these files were kept in the dark for so long is why the world is demanding answers right now. Because this evidence is finally coming to light and the details are changing by the hour, you need to subscribe to this channel immediately. We are the only ones tracking every single page of these 302 reports too. Make sure the full, unvarnished truth is told. When you subscribe, you join thousands of others who refuse to let these stories stay buried. Stay with us, because the next set of documents is expected to drop any moment. And you do not want to be the last to know. The political fallout from these specific details is already catastrophic. While the White House is calling the biting story fantastical and completely baseless, independent investigators are pointing out something very strange. They are asking why the FBI interviewed this woman 4 separate times if they thought she was lying. Usually, if a witness is not credible, the agents walk away. But these files show a series of follow-up meetings where agents kept digging deeper into her story. This suggests that, at least for a time, the authorities were taking her claims very seriously. Now, with the Attorney General facing a massive wave of subpoenas, the focus is shifting from what happened in the 1980s to who decided to hide these records in 2026. We are watching a high-speed collision between the past and the present, and the impact is going to be felt for years to come. The pressure has finally reached the breaking point. This is the moment where the secrets of the past and the politics of today collide in a way that simply cannot be undone. What started as a whisper in a courtroom has now turned into a full-scale national crisis. With these documents finally out in the open, the world is looking at a set of allegations that are as detailed as they are disturbing. We are talking about sworn statements, FBI interview notes, and flight logs that have been locked away for years, only to surface now because a coding error was finally caught. But as the public reads through these thousands of pages, the question isn't just about what happened decades ago, it's about who tried to keep it all a secret in 2026. This is the kind of story that changes the course of history. We are seeing a sitting president facing some of the most serious accusations imaginable, while the highest levels of the Justice Department are being forced to explain why these specific files were buried. The legal battles are just beginning. Subpoenas are flying. Witnesses are being called to testify under oath, and the demands for a full, independent investigation are growing louder by the second. There is no going back to the way things were before these papers were unsealed. The curtain has been pulled back, and the reality behind it is something the world is still trying to process. Because this story is moving faster than anyone can keep up with, and because more documents are expected to be released in the coming days, you must subscribe to this channel right now. We are committed to bringing you every single update, every new name, and every hidden detail as it breaks. When you subscribe, You ensure that you are never left in the dark as this massive scandal continues to tear through the halls of power. Do not miss the next chapter of this unfolding history. Hit that button and stay with us. As we look at the fallout, one thing is certain. The victims who were silenced for so long are finally being heard by the entire world. Their stories, once hidden in FBI vaults, are now part of the public record forever. Whether it is the biting incident, the secret meetings, or the black book contacts, these details are now out there for everyone to judge. The White House continues to deny everything, calling it a political hit job, but the documents tell a story that is hard to ignore. We are witnessing the end of an era of secrecy and the beginning of a massive fight for accountability. The truth is finally out, and the world will never be the same again. Thank you for staying with us through this breaking report. We will continue to bring you the facts as they arrive.